Well, if you want a car which offers you great luxury, if you want a car which offers you great features, safety, as well as comfort and opulence, and you want something different from the Germans, then the Volvo XC90 is a car that you should definitely have a look at. Now, overall, this car has been around for the last 10 years. Yes, this car was launched in 2015. You can check out my video reviews of the car in those days. But largely, the silhouette of this car has remained unchanged. Volvo, of course, has given it some minor changes over the years. This one is the new one for 2025, and Volvo says that this is going to be the model to carry over in the next few years as well. So what are the big changes on the outside? Well, the grille has been changed. It gets a lot of elements which are not either sloping, means they're not longitude or horizontal. So you get lots of cuts over there and lots of chrome. And these Thor hammer-like headlamps remain the overall design language of this car, but they have been slightly modified as well to make them look a little sleeker. The bumper also has been changed with sensors now, and of course lots of chrome towards the lower part as well. The tires and the alloy wheels look very cool. 20-inch wheels on this car with 275 section tires, so massive wheels. And of course the back end of the car will remind you of an Indian car, because when I made the video of that car, I said it reminds you of some other car. What is the back end of this car and which car does it remind you of? You can let me know in the comments section below. Anyways, I think it looks very cool. It doesn't have that same show-off factor. It doesn't have that same kind of, in-your-face kind of image that the Germans offer. But that said, this car offers you a very understated, elegant, as well as classy exterior. It's been around for 10 years, but it still looks very graceful, and it looks very ageless indeed. Now let's jump inside the cabin, show you the important bits, and tell you how it is to drive. My name is Ashish Masih. If you've come to our channel for the first time, then please subscribe to it. If you've been here before, then please give us a like, and also do press that notification icon so that you get all our notifications when we put up a video. Also follow us on the website carbike360.com, and don't forget to follow us on our social media handles as well. Let's get started with the new Volvo XC90. Well, so this is the place to be if you like Scandinavian design and Scandinavian flair. If you have IKEA furniture at home, you will feel like you're in the right place, because it has that minimalism going on, that luxurious interior. But again, just like the exterior, it doesn't shout in your face, it doesn't have that show-off factor. You'll appreciate the large AC vents over in the middle, and you'll also appreciate this iPad-like device. It's very easy to operate. Of course, it has been updated over the years, and it feels very nice and intuitive to use as well. Much easier than the BMW range. Apple CarPlay, Android Auto can be connected wirelessly on this thing. And what you'll also enjoy is the fact that the AC controls are over here, and the only buttons over here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them are again minimalism, and they do reduce the overall space as well as don't confuse you and doesn't feel very overwhelming. So that's quite nice. Completely digital dials, which look very cool, and a massive panoramic sunroof because everybody enjoys it. The big highlight on this car is the seats. The seats on this car are ahead of Mercedes, Audi, as well as BMW in terms of sheer comfort, and really Volvo knows how to make seats, and these ones are very good. You also get very nice materials all across. This wood finish over here, this little bit of fabric, and of course the plastic and the trim. Everything feels first rate, and you'll really appreciate one of the cool features on the seat, and that is of course this. Since 1959, now you'll be wondering what's been there since 1959, and the seat belt has been around since this age. And Volvo introduced the 3-pointed seat belt, and they gave it for free to all manufacturers to use. Why did they do that? Very benevolent of them, but that's the way they are. They just gave it because it would save lives and be something which would be very helpful in terms of the safety. So they introduced this in 1959, and they've put it on the seat belt as well, so you don't forget. In terms of the overall ambience, it feels nice and plush and very positive. As I said, it's like an IKEA furniture store. It's got minimalism, but it's quite posh and upmarket, very comfortable, good overall features. Bowers and Wilkins stereo, which sounds very good, at par with the Mercedes Burmeister systems, and really I think I enjoy the cabin and the minimalism that this car has to offer. The front end of the cabin gets a good score of 9 out of 10. You also get lots of places where you can keep your beverage holders, and of course a place to keep your odds and ends. Now you also get the USB type C, 2 of them over here inside, not over here on the outside, 2 of them over here hidden away, and large door bins which can generally house those big 1 liter bottles from your home. And they're also got space where you can keep newspapers and stuff like that. Powered seats means that you can easily find a comfortable driving position, and of course the steering wheel also adjusts both for reach as well as for rig. 9 out of 10 to the front end. Let's jump in the back seat and see how good that really is. Well, now I'm in the back seat of the XC90. As you can see, knee room is more than sufficient. Headroom is also quite good. My height for reference is 5'10", and these seats can be moved at the front and at the back as well. And of course, you can also adjust the backrest angle. So in terms of usability, they're quite good. You also get integrated blinds over here and AC vents over here on the pillar as well as over here. You can also change the settings of the AC controls by using this touch panel. You also get USB type C, 2 of them over here, and lots of places to keep your odds and ends. You also get this armrest. If you pull it out, you'll see that it's locked, and you can open it up and you have a couple of beverage holders. Otherwise you can lock it up and just keep your cell phone over here and sit here like the boss with the belt up and tell your driver to drive all day long, because it's a very nice and very comfortable place to be in. I'll give the back seat of this car a good score of 8.5 out of 10. Now let's jump in the last row and see how good that is. Now I really enjoyed the cabin because the materials, the color combination, the stitching, even the finer bits, the details are genuinely quite good. 8.5 out of 10. Now let's check out the back seat, the last row, and see if it's a genuine car for adult occupants at the back or only kids will sit over there. Well, so I have to say that the last row of seats on the Volvo XC90 isn't the best place to be. As you can see, I'm sitting really in a very tight position, and I can't really sit and show you how much legroom there is, because for someone who's my height, which for reference is 5'10", space is at a premium. So if your height is about 5'7" or 5'6", you'll be quite okay in these seats. But for someone who's about 5'10" like me, or even 5'9", it's a difficult place to get in. So I think it's best reserved for only kids. So if you want to have 5 adults and maybe 2 kids in the car, or 4 adults and their children, 2 of them at the back, then I think it's quite okay. But for people who are 5'7" plus, more than that, it's not really a very good place to be. So that's the only missing link on this car. But that said, it's quite good that you have an option of 2 extra seats in the last row. You get beverage holders over here and over here on both sides. You also get some hooks, and you also get AC vents in the last row. But surprisingly, there aren't any USB type C or any kind of USB charging points. Anyways, the last row is a bit of a disappointment, but the bonus is that at least you get the practicality of those extra seats. Now let's show you the boot with and without the seats, and after that we'll take this car out for a spin. Well, let's quickly show you the boot of this car, because that's also an important bit. Now when you open this car up with all the rows up, surprisingly there is plenty of place to keep your odds and ends. You can keep a couple of big suitcase items in this, or you can keep at least 3 and 3, 6 medium size ones, small size ones, which are basically meant for the weekend trips. So I think with all the rows up, you have plenty of place. You can also drop these seats down, and once you drop them down, you get a completely flat loading area, and then it feels like it's an estate car. Yes, remember those? The Tata Estate, which was sold in the late 90s and early 2000s. So it's got a deep as well as very nice boot, big aperture, absolutely flat loading area. So it's a great car in case your mother-in-law is coming in. It's a great car to drop her back to the hills. You also get a 12-volt charging point at the back, and of course these buttons, you might say, what is this? This car's suspension can be raised up slightly, and it can be dropped down as well. So right now it is raised up. Let me show you when it drops down. There you see the suspension has gone down, and now this car will become a little more sporty to drive. And of course it's now at its least position, so it's easier to load those big bags and those big boxes. And of course, if you don't really want it to be all the way down and you want it to be a little sporty, you can raise it up slightly, or you can raise it up all the way to the top. It depends how much you want it raised up. Right now it's gone up to the maximum. So that's something which you can do with the Volvo XC90. Overall though, it's a great car in terms of space as well as comfort, except the last row of seats. Now let me quickly shut down the boot and take this car out for a spin, because the real fun of this car is in the driving bits. Well, so now it's time to drive the Volvo XC90. I have to say that this car is very good in terms of comfort. Yes, Volvo is erring on the side of comfort with this car. They've erred on the side of comfort, and I have to say that this is a very pleasant experience to drive this car. Now this car comes with only a petrol engine. It's a 2-liter turbo petrol which is powering the wheels, and I have to say that 250 bhp sounds more than sufficient, and it is. Now you also get 360 Nm of torque, and of course you also get a very nice and very easygoing engine. The suspension setup on this car, as I said, has been tuned more for comfort, and it shows when you take it over potholes and bad patches of road. because it just soaks in the bumps quite well. It just offers you a very pliant ride. And one thing which I really like about this car is the fact that the suspension setup is very soft. Of course, it has air suspension, so you can lower it and you can bring it down a bit. We're riding right now on the topmost setting. It's riding at its highest height possible, and I have to say it's feeling very comfortable, and it is a car which feels nice and softly sprung. The steering wheel also is offering you good feedback. Again, it's a little soft because as I said, this car is erring on the side of comfort. You can of course change the settings over here by using the driving modes, and of course you can choose the steering wheel setting. Now it's become firm because I put it on firm, or you can choose the suspension setting because I've put it on the firmer side. So these things can make a genuine difference. The steering wheel has now got more weight in it, and of course the suspension also feels a little more tauter, it feels a little more tighter, so it does feel good for highway travel. But of course if you soften it up, it'll become better for city travel, and that is something which you can do on this car, like you can do on most luxury SUVs out there. Now visibility wise, it is quite good. You get lots of safety features like blind spot assist. Of course adaptive cruise control is there because this car has those ADAS features. You also get a very good view of the entire bonnet line, and from here also you can get a good view. But of course if you have 7 occupants in this car, then you won't be able to see that because they will be hogging their, the headroom will be completely hogging away all the space that you see. But other than that, it is a very good place to be. In terms of the overall acceleration, as I said, it feels like, in the mid-range it feels very quick and very good, and it's only towards the starting of the rev counter, maybe the first 12, 1300, 1400 RPM, where it feels a little bit lazy. It's not very lazy, but since it is a car which has 250 bhp to play with, it does feel a little lazy in the initial part of its rev band. But once you of course cross 1500 RPM, it feels very lively and quite engaging to drive as well. What will you also appreciate about this car is the fact that the cabin isolation is generally very good. It's a very well isolated place, very cocoon place. All the noise on the outside are kept on the outside, the noise inside are kept on the inside. So you really are traveling in your own cocoon of comfort and isolation, and you'll feel very special indeed when you're driving this car because it just feels so good. And it's like a business class travel because just like in the business class, you shut away from the world, you just closed up with everything. You feel the same when you're traveling inside the cabin of this car. Now what else is there to tell you about? Acceleration is quick. The only thing is that in the mid-range, sometimes when you rev it up quite a bit, then the engine feels a little coarse. It doesn't feel as silky smooth as some of its rivals. That could probably be because it's a turbo, but it is powerful. But it's just in the mid-range that it feels a little bit coarse when you push it hard. Again, I'm doing some nitpicking here so that you don't say that I'm biased towards Volvo or I've taken paid promotion from them. I've taken money to give you a positive review, but since it is there, I thought I should highlight this factor as well. Overall though, I'm very satisfied. If I'm a genuine luxury car owner, if I'm a genuine luxury car customer, I would prefer the cabin of this car, the driving bits of this car, and sitting in the back seat and the front seat of this car, because mostly people who buy these cars drive them very occasionally, and for that kind of person, this is the perfect luxury SUV. As I said, neither is it too soft, neither is it too firm, so it's got the right mix. You can of course change the settings of suspension, steering wheel, and of course the engine also feels nice as well as punchy. Overall, I'll give it a good and satisfying score of 9 out of 10 in the driving department. Now let me stop the car and give you a definitive summary report. Well, so what's my final verdict with the Volvo XC90? Is this a car that you should keep in your shortlist when you're buying a 1 crore luxury SUV? Definitely it's a car you should keep on your shortlist. In fact, the top of your shortlist, simply because it offers you a very opulent interior, it offers you a very plush ride, and it also offers you very sophisticated looks on the outside, which make this car stand out from a sea of other German luxury SUVs. Yes, this car is definitely a contender in the top slot of luxury SUVs at this price point. And if you're lucky enough to have this kind of cash lying around, I would recommend you check out this car at a Volvo dealership near you. It really is great in terms of safety, comfort, luxury, opulence, as well as a premium factor, and of course that exclusive look on the outside, which makes it very good in terms of the strong road presence. I'll give this car a strong score of 95 out of 100. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon.